Joining us now, live and exclusive from Chandigarh, is one of the senior-most Akali leaders, General Secretary of the Akali Dal, Bikram Singh Nijjar now joins me on India Today. Nijjar Sahab, Sat Sri Akal, welcome. I want to start by asking you about the decision of the Ministry of External Affairs to suspend temporarily visas to Canadian nationals who may wish to come to India. This has caused a lot of chatter in Punjab amongst those who are hoping to go out, who have family in Canada. As a former senior minister of the Akali government in Punjab, what do you make of the manner in which India-Canada ties seem to be spiraling down a very slippery slope?
I think, Rahul, it's very sad. As mature democracies and as one of the largest democracy and one of the oldest democracies, you need to handle these issues very differently, because one has to realize one thing, that every second house in Punjab has a family member sitting in Canada, and it's going to send a lot of heartburn, and there are going to be lots of economic, social, personal losses that will be caused to people. How can you expect a child who wants to get back to his ailing parents that he cannot come back, or some old parent who wants to quickly has an health issue that has to be addressed, or someone's expecting, wants to be with the mother, someone's passed away, and it's this particular season now that's coming up. October, November, December, January, February, March are those months when you see the maximum number of the Punjabi diaspora coming back to India and Punjab. And they've got serious family ties here. Whether it's a celebration in the family, whether it is any personal or social function, or whether they are religious functions. You have a lot of people coming in for the New Year's.
But Nijjar Sahab, nobody who already has a visa has been stopped from coming back. It's only Canadian nationals who don't have Indian visas who are now wanting to apply for Indian visas. That's the only bar India has put at the moment, sir.
You know, it needs to be spelled out very clearly. If you read the newspapers today, and you read what people are talking about there, you know, it's about one individual. Sort that matter out the way it needs to be sorted out. Law should be enforced. Whatever is the truth should come out. But why should everybody be put in the dock because of actions of a few? Punjabis are not known for that. Punjabis are the most patriotic people. And it's so sad that why should a Punjabi suffer because of actions of one individual? And Rahul, you're saying this, but the general impression is people have started cancelling their bookings. People who had booked for weddings, they had a lot of Canadians, friends and family coming in. They've started cancellation because this uncertainty is not going to help both the countries, I feel. Your dialogue can never stop. And I feel if you continue with your dialogue, continue with trade, it's when things only get better. You shut it down with Pakistan, things have only got bad to worse.
What do you make of the charges that Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, has levelled against India? Never before has India been accused of carrying out an assassination on foreign soil by a Western power. He didn't provide any evidence. He spoke of allegations, not of evidence, but he spoke of credible allegations. That's a bit of an oxymoron because it's essentially an allegation in the absence of any material evidence. What do you make of the charge that the Canadian Prime Minister has levelled against the Indian state?
You know, I'm a too small a fry to comment on two governments or two prime ministers, but I'll tell you one thing, the truth has to come out. You cannot make mere allegations and get away. There are reasonable people sitting on either side who are going to now question this action, question what he said in Parliament. We all have we have great respect for the democratic systems in both the countries, But end of the day, nobody will be allowed to get away by just making a statement. You will have to put the evidence on the table. Otherwise, you're going to come out looking very stupid. And I'm nobody to comment on that. Let the agencies do their work. If he has evidence, he should put it out instead of just, I've been reading his statements. And, you know, there's, like you and me, everybody has question marks about it. He talks about credible reasons. We are talking about credible evidence now. You can't accuse another country like this, and you cannot, people cannot suffer because of your politics or anybody's politics. And let me tell you one thing, I'm repeatedly saying this, that, you know, it's so sad what's been happening over the last 2 days, and it really pains to see this happening. Today's newspaper is full about NIA has issued a statement where there are these Khalistanis, and all of them are, an impression goes out as if Sikhs are the only Khalistanis. We are the most peace-loving, patriotic people out there. Every ardas of ours is about Sarbat da Pala. So to make a narrative, to build a narrative of this sort, it's so so sad. And it's all, end of the day, I think it's, time will tell, but it's all going to come down to politics.
Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who was a very vocal advocate for Khalistan, India describes him as a terrorist. The government of Justin Trudeau not even willing to concede that Hardeep Singh Nijjar was up to secessionist activities. When we see how Trudeau and his government clamp down on truckers who are protesting or those who don't like his vaccine policy, he's applying very firm national security laws. But when it comes to secession, separatism directed at India, Trudeau suddenly gets very liberal about it.
You know, Rahul, I am nobody to comment on what Mr. Trudeau is saying or doing. It's his internal politics. Yes, we need to protect our country. And one thing we must realize that we, even the latest Galwan clashes or any incident before that, whenever India has been at war with anyone, the maximum, the most supreme sacrifices have been made by Punjabis. And we should remember that always. So what Trudeau is saying, what is Trudeau's politics, I cannot comment on that. Yes, we will protect our borders. We need to protect our country. But at the same time, we Punjabis are the most patriotic people, and I'm going to repeat that time and again because it's a time and tested fact. And actions of a few, you cannot paint Punjab or any turbaned man in a particular way. That's what's bothering me today.
No, absolutely. You don't even need to keep saying that. I think everyone who's watching realizes and acknowledges fully the patriotism and the bravery of the Sikh community.
So Rahul, that leads me to that leads me to the second question. Why is, because the maximum number of people going out to Canada are Punjabis, and all this disruptions by both the governments is in some way or the other, directly or indirectly, going to hurt that community the maximum.
No, but how do you then suggest that the government deal with this issue? Because with the likes of Hardeep Nijjar and what we're seeing in Australia, the UK, the Khalistani movement, with the help of the ISI backing and funding, seems to be getting some kind of a second life, not in a secessionist violent form, but at least as far as propaganda, as far as trying to build a narrative is concerned, they're now more vocal than they've been since the mid-90s. So what do you think about those who think that the Ghosts of Khalistan are coming back in some way and that this is more vocal and more visible than it has been in the past 2 decades?
Rahul, I find it so amusing that we even give this importance. Because the people of, you have to ask the people of Punjab, where are they planning to make this Khalistan? Like it's their Canadian Premier, Mr. Ujjwal Dasan, said, and I read one of his statements, where he said that if they are talking about Khalistan, let them make it in Canada first. People in Punjab are very happy in the present system. Why are we so concerned about what few Canadians are saying who are never going to be coming back to India? Let us live in peace, man.
No, but
I think it's more about, sorry to say, but it's becoming more about politics now. It's less about the facts, because you come out to the streets of Punjab, this is not even an issue. We are peace-loving, happy-go-lucky people. And day in and day out pray for everybody's happiness. So what a couple of you, and I feel India is strong enough to handle a few Johnnies who are making such statements.
no, but these Johnnies seem to be creating a lot of trouble. For example, if
And
you see
I'm
Pannu seems to be making very incendiary
No, I think
comments, including asking for action to be taken against Indian diplomats, calling for action against Hindus who are in Canada and elsewhere, saying that they are anti-Canada. Now, if somebody listens to a joker like Pannu, a terrorist like Pannu, that could actually cause trouble, because he is making highly incendiary comments. What action do you think we should take against someone like a Pannu?
I think you shouldn't even listen to that Johnny. He's just making those statements so that he can be heard. And we are giving him undue importance. The man is good for nothing. He's a lost case. He is not capable or in any position to harm India. India is a strong country, and we keep boasting about us being strong. Then let's not bother about such jokers making any statement. Are you going to get everybody to keep their mouth shut? There are going to be a number of such jokers making crazy statements all the time. I think they have been given undue importance.
But sir, the fact is that
You look at the
Gurpatpan
large
Singh Pannu
majority of Punjabis
is asking Canadian Hindus to leave. He's calling them anti-Canada. Now, if somebody is taking, you're saying he's a joker, ignore him. Now, if most people did that, great. But what if those few who believe in him start listening to him and start taking action? Then suddenly, what is just a verbal statement then becomes a violent act.
You know, I've been watching, we've been hearing about this Johnny for a very long time. He just makes these statements which mean nothing. And he makes it on every Independence Day, every Republic Day. It's his way of making money, and we should realize that. A person himself, I find it very amusing rather. Nobody even listens to him. I think we are giving him too much importance.
I had
Yes,
Jay Panda,
anybody who's trying to harm the peace of any country.
I had Jay Panda, Vice President of the BJP, with me on the show. He said that in the manner in which Canada is fanning separatist flames in India on the issue of Khalistan and not listening to logic and reason, India should start supporting, backing, doing conferences for Quebec separatists. There are so many in Quebec, even at this moment, who want to break away, saying that if that's what they do to India, we can pay them back in the same currency. What do you make of this idea?
I'm not going to comment on what Mr. Jay Panda feels or thinks. He's most entitled to his view. I believe in peace, I believe in harmony, and I believe in dialogue. And I feel people in both sides, in both the countries, are reasonable enough. There could be a handful who believe in a crazy thought, but you cannot color everybody with the same brush. And I have full faith in human values, and I feel the large majority wants peace, love, and prosperity.
You know, everyone in Punjab, or most people in Punjab, have some form of family and friends in Canada. Those very concerned at this moment. What's your message to them? Because while their coming and going isn't impacted, we did hear from the Canadian government that they are evaluating reciprocal measures quite naturally on the back of India's suspension of visas. What are you wanting to tell all those who are watching at this moment and are deeply concerned about what comes next?
You know, Rahul, when all this chatter is happening and when the Canadian government comes out with an advisory that whoever's traveling to India needs to be safe, and when the Indian government comes out with a similar advisory, people are going to get worried, because these are not normal statements. But I personally, I feel both we as Indians and as Canadians out there, the large majority believes in peace, love, and they realize that some statements could turn out to be very hollow in times to come. So it's sad that these statements are being made. The truth needs to come out so that nobody can get away by blaming people like this. We ourselves are a very large and a very responsible democracy, and nobody likes to see such accusations even flying towards our country. Because end of the day, when you're a proud Indian, you need to be proud of all the facts of India. Whether it's respecting any caste, creed, religion, or whether it's your economic policies, whether it's your regional policies, it's all policies in total. So I think this statement by the Prime Minister will have to be backed up by evidence, otherwise he's going to look very stupid in the eyes on the world stage otherwise.
Lastly, how do you see this play out in a domestic political context? The Akalis were in talks with the BJP about a possible rapprochement, about fighting the next elections together. Is that still, Majithia Sahab, on the cards, or do you think that now becomes tougher to achieve than it was earlier? How do you see this play out in the context of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections?
I'm not aware of any talks happening with the BJP, and the BJP's position in Punjab is not very great. So I'm nobody to comment on that. Let's keep politics aside out of this show. My concern is about people, and people-to-people contact must grow, and any kind of thaw in that process is going to cause a lot of heartburn, a lot of hardships across the spectrum. And that's what my concern is. Politics will continue, tie-up or no tie-up will happen in times to come, but my major concern is what is happening, because there's a very large Punjabi population in Punjab as well as in Canada, and my concern is people.
Majithia Sahab, you've spoken from the heart, you've made very firm points. You've also been diplomatic on the question of what we should do with Justin Trudeau. Quite naturally, that's something for the central government to deal with. You've spoken for and expressed the voice of the concern of the people of Punjab and those who have family and friends, which is most in Punjab, quite frankly. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate your time. Bikram Singh Majithia, senior Akali Dal leader, speaking to us on the downward spiral in the ties between India and Canada. Majithia Sahab, thank you.